They are criminalizing dissent, and they are taking advantage of these laws like the sedition section as well as the UAPA. So, in fact, 10 of us are challenging the Supreme Court with very, very strong grounds, and that is coming up for hearing probably next week.
I delivered a speech in Aligarh Muslim University on 12th of December 2019. According to the Uttar Pradesh government, Yogi Adityanath ji found it inflammatory and just found the reason to incarcerate me.
हमारे ऊपर यूएपीए में भी जो सेक्शंस हैं 13, 15, 17, 18, 19 इस तरह के सेक्शंस जो लगे हुए हैं, चार्जशीट में ये कहा गया है मेरे अगेंस्ट कि उमर खालिद और के लोग जो हैं ये इनको सब कुछ प्लान करके देते थे और ये लोग जाके जामिया में जो है इसे एग्जीक्यूट करते थे.
I was arrested on 29th of January from Mumbai airport when on 30th I was going to attend a program on the memory of Mahatma Gandhi, 30th of January, with his grandson Tushar Gandhi in Colaba, Mumbai.
देखिए, जब हमारी अरेस्टिंग हुई, अरेस्टिंग के समय में जो इन्होंने पूरा जो माहौल बनाया, एटमॉस्फेयर बनाया, वो इस तरह से बनाया कि जैसे कि मैं एक बहुत बड़ा टेररिस्ट.
Initially, when I was arrested, I was not told on what charges I'm being arrested on. At late in the night, at about 10:30, my husband was, made to sign the arrest memo, which said that I am being arrested at 5:30 p.m. But, me and him, we were both forced to sign it.
They used to behave very badly. They used to make me naked, remove my clothes. One person used to hold my leg, one person used to hold my hands, and they used to beat me with stick, rod, this belts, whatever they used to get.
जेल में इस तरह का डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, इस तरह का माहौल था कि वो बहुत अफसोसनाक है, जिसको मैं याद करता हूँ तो थोड़ा कभी इमोशनल भी हो जाता हूँ. कि जब मैं जेल में गया, मुझसे नाम पूछा गया, केस पूछा गया, किस केस में, उसके बाद मुझे बुरी तरीके से जो है वो पेड़ में बांध के मारा गया.
There were days that I used to scream and scream and scream and shout for food and water, and I used to faint. I used to hallucinate. I used to see food in the air, pastry, cakes, mutton, chicken, everything. I used to actually run. I chew my whole shirt, to satisfy my hunger. I ate grass outside the cell.
UAPA also, that one of the unlawful activities defined is promoting disaffection against the state. That any criticism of the government can be called an unlawful activity. And then there's this very draconian provision about bail. The normal rule for bail is that unless there is any apprehension or any reasonable apprehension that the accused will jump bail and not appear for trial or investigation, or that he will tamper with evidence, or that he will commit another such heinous offence if he has committed a heinous offence, until then, bail is the rule, bail is the exception. But in UAPA, the trial court has to record that there is no prima facie case against him. Now, on the basis of the police diary, it is almost impossible for the trial court to record that there is no prima facie case, because usually some trumped up case is made up against these people.
We have studied UAPA in great detail. We find that, number one, it is a very draconian law. They enacted the law several years ago, but never implemented it. Yeah. And then after this government has come, they have implemented it left, right and center.
I mean, use of UAPA, in my reckoning, in normal times cannot be justified. I mean, there are many other laws that can be used. And if somebody has committed a crime which is less than 7 years, bail should not be denied. I mean, again, Supreme Court has said that the bail is the norm, not jailing people.
I would, मैं कांग्रेस को भी बरी नहीं करूंगी, because it is them who brought in this law, and even when more stringent provisions were added to it, they were party to it.
And if a person is accused in a UAPA case, the possibilities for getting the bail is from the trial court nil, from the high court little chance, from the Supreme Court some chance. By that time at least 1 year will be over.
यूएपीए का लॉ जो कि ये कहता है कि जिससे देश मतलब देश की एकता और अखंडता को नुकसान पहुंचे, अगर कोई शख्स है, कोई इंसान है जो देश की एकता और अखंडता पे हमला करना चाहता है, देश के खिलाफ है, तो उनपे जो है इस तरह के लॉ आप यूज कर सकते हैं, इस तरह का कानून जो है लगा के उसको बंद कर सकते हैं। लेकिन ऐसे लोग जो देश को बचाने के लिए, जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को बचाने के लिए, जो संविधान की बात करते हैं, जो संविधान को अपने साथ में लेकर चलते हैं, जो अपने हर स्पीच में जो है गांधी जी और बाबा साहब भीमराव अम्बेडकर की बात करते हैं, ऐसे लोगों को उठा के जो है आप जेल में डाल देते हैं।
यूएपीए के कितने जो कन्विक्शन रेट है, जो कि कितने मामलों में यूएपीए सिद्ध कर पाए, तो वो बमुश्किल 3 से 4% है। यानी करीब 90% से अधिक लोग तो हर बार रिहाई होते हैं या वो बेगुनाह ही निकलते हैं।
I am not against UAPA. I am only against, the misuse of these provisions. Laws are essential. We want strong laws because in case of a conflict between the fundamental right of a citizen, the safety and security of the country, without doubt I can say that the safety and security of the country matters. But that is not a license to put an innocent behind the bars.
The earlier Congress government, nothing prevented the Congress government, which has been there for the last so many years, to do away with the sedition law. Or for that matter, even the UAPA, which is the legacy of 26/11 attack which took place on Bombay, and that is a time when all kinds of new laws meant to fight terror were brought in, and unhappily they are being slapped on civil society or even journalists.
Sedition, which is a colonial law, which is abolished in in England, but we because of our colonized mindset, we continue to use it, and we continue to suppress dissent because of it.
Unfortunately, you see, the sedition law says that any promotion of disaffection against the government amounts to sedition, though the Supreme Court had clarified in 1962 that unless there is an incitement to violence or an incitement to public disorder, it will not qualify as an offense of sedition. But yet, it is still being misused even against those people who are not inciting violence or public disorder, just criticizing the government.
A journalist from Kerala, and he just went to cover the Hathras incident, which was a very tragic incident where a girl was raped and was burned in the midnight by the cops, and court has objected that the whole incident. But that journalist is behind the bar.
My point is this: when a journalist is arrested in the company of whoever it may be, even if non-terrorist or any kind of people, he or she should be given the benefit of doubt for the simple reason, for covering stories, for gathering information. They have to go with all kind of people.
There was nothing that he said or did which remotely amounts to any offense.
He has been charged with sedition and charges of terror links also being brought in. But what is the basis? That basis is not being given. There have been some very dodgy testimonies of individuals who probably knew him have been put out. There is also suggestions based on some of his past writing, and the 7,500 pages charge sheet which has been slapped against him. That suggests that he had links with some radical organization, and if he had been allowed to go to Hathras, he would have probably written things which would have stoked violence or promoted radicalism in the area that he comes from, or maybe in Mathura. But he's a Malayalam speaking gentleman, and he never reached Hathras, and he never wrote anything. So in a certain way, if people are being booked for thought crime, the Orwellian concept of thought crime, then there is no hope.
It's also pretty apparent that for more than a year that he's been in custody, no court has granted him bail. So it is really a collective failure that we're talking about.
Stan Swamy was also totally arrested in a totally mala fide charge, and again charged under UAPA so as to make bail very difficult for him. But you see, it also shows the insensitivity of the courts. that they should have granted him bail much earlier, but they did not. At least medical bail should have been granted to him.
Poor chap, 84-year-old man, he was asking for a sipper to drink water. And they won't give him. He had to go to the court, then he had to go to the High Court to get a sipper to drink water.
Somebody who's so old and who had, a past of social service looking after people, surely he did not deserve the kind of death he had in incarceration. It has brought nothing but shame to our country.
In Bhima Koregaon, though there is clear evidence that the evidence on the basis of which they have been charged has been planted, but the court is still unable or unwilling to give them bail because of this draconian provision. And there is a judgment of the Supreme Court recently which says that at the time of bail, the court can't even go into the issue of whether the evidence against them is admissible or not.
कुछ दिन पहले यानी अक्टूबर 24, 25, 26 उस दौरान त्रिपुरा में एंटी मुस्लिम वायलेंस होता है और ये होता है बांग्लादेश की घटनाओं के बाद, जहाँ पर बांग्लादेश में हिंदुओं के मंदिरों या उनकी रैलियों पर कुछ अराजक तत्वों के द्वारा कुछ हरकतें की जाती हैं और जिसका बदला लेने के लिए त्रिपुरा में एक रैली निकलती है विश्व हिंदू परिषद की। और कहने को वो विरोध करने के लिए निकली थी, लेकिन जैसे ही वो चीज उस रैली को कोई 1-2 घंटे हुए तो उसके बाद ही वहां पर हिंसा हो जाती है। तो उसके बाद मैंने एक ट्वीट लिखा। ट्वीट में ये था कि त्रिपुरा इज बर्निंग, त्रिपुरा जल रहा है। करीब 102 लोगों पर यूएपी ने लगा दिया। प्रथम दृष्टया ही ये चीज दिख रही है कि त्रिपुरा इज बर्निंग में कुछ भी वायलेंस नहीं है, कुछ भी वायलेटिव नहीं है, उसमें कुछ भी आतंकवाद जैसा नहीं है। तो उसमें फिर ये पूरे इन्होंने जो 102 लोगों के नाम लिए हैं, पहली बात तो ट्वीट्स के आधार पर यूएपी नहीं लगाए जाते हैं और दूसरी बात ट्वीट में भी जो चीजें हैं बहुत ही नॉर्मल, जैसे कि एक पत्रकार ने ये लिखा कि क्या बांग्लादेश को भारत में दोहराया जा रहा है। अब इतनी सी बात को कहने पर आपने यूएपी लगा दी।
The Tripura police clearly is acting on an agenda. In fact, the chief minister is ruthlessly using the police to intimidate, harass, and imprison all kinds of political and other activists who are exposing the sort of gundagardi that is going on in the state.
When they decide to prevent the journalists from speaking and they slap charges like sedition, which is a charge which normally, started off way back when the Britishers were in power. It's an old colonial law and it was largely used against freedom fighters. Then there's something wrong with the way the government of the day countenances freedom of speech, because journalists are in a certain way protected by this fundamental right, which is the freedom of speech and expression.
Journalism in India is not one homogeneous unit. You have members of the press who have deliberately chosen to remain silent. You have members of the press who have openly aligned themselves with the ruling elite. And then you have a few journalists who do their job as should be done. Now, because those few journalists who do their job as should be done are in the minority, naturally they are targeted. If journalism and journalists could all get together and do their job in the way that is expected of them, I think much of this would reduce.
The manner in which journalists are being harassed, intimidated, charged with sedition, UAPA, etc., and the manner in which the mainstream media has been compromised by inducements of advertisements and threats of their owners being raided by the CBI, ED, income tax, etc. This has led to the world press freedom plummeting, the press freedom index plummeting in India. The way forward is that courts need to be much more proactive and vigilant. We need a media council which is empowered, which is completely independent of the government, which can stop this kind of harassment of the media.
Fortunately, there is a major technological advancement I think the mainstream media is virtually lost its relevance. People are moving more towards the social media and digital media. Hardly anybody is reading the newspapers. And I have stopped, let me tell you, I have stopped watching TV.
A large part of the media has been co-opted and compromised. It will be very wrong to call it media even, because they have just become like the PR machinery of the ruling government.
Editors Guild is one of the petitioners against sedition law to be used against journalists. And we filed it way back in May this year. And we are still waiting for it to come up in the Supreme Court. Because the Chief Justice of India has expressed his, reservations about the sedition law, and he wanted the government also to take a look and probably repeal it. But courts alone can't repeal anything. They can only create safeguards to prevent its misuse on individuals who are in the business of, being a journalist or in the business of disseminating information.
जब किसी देश में लोकतांत्रिक ढांचों पर खतरा हो या उसकी लोकतांत्रिक संस्थाओं पर खतरा हो, तो वैसे में जो पत्रकारिता है वो दो तरह से काम करती है। और पत्रकारिता के लिए वो सबसे नाजुक दौर भी होता है कि वो अपने सबसे संवेदनशील दौर से भी गुजर रही होती है, और वही वक्त उसके लिए सबसे अधिक साहस दिखाने का भी वक्त होता है, और वो उसका गोल्डन पीरियड भी होता है।
What's happening in UP? Two teams are playing. One team wins, Pakistan wins. You appreciate the winning team. They are booked under sedition.
My fear is that certain institutions begin to wilt in the absence of state resolve, and that is what is being visible here.
In emergency, the difference is the media remained suppressed, but the moment emergency was lifted, they came back, and within a month, the government was thrown out. Within 2 months. The emergency was imposed under a provision of the Constitution of India. Now there is no proclamation, nothing, but it was much worse than what it was at that time.
And I think states like Kerala register enough cases under UAPA. So I don't think it is specific to any particular political party. I think every political party enjoys the fact that it can silence citizens through these laws. And you'd be surprised how indiscriminately UAPA is used in some of the opposition rule states as well.
Sedition must be struck down altogether. They tried to read it down earlier, but that didn't work. It is still being misused. It is still in the statute books. Earlier they had saved it by saying that they must try and harmonize it. But that kind of protection doesn't apply to a pre-constitution law, which is what the sedition law is.
In cases of false implication, there should be stringent provisions to punish whoever implicated an innocent behind the bars. I mean, in cases, frivolous cases. That is my point.
UAPA, there are at least two very offensive provisions, which one is the very wide definition of unlawful activity, which is like sedition also. And the other is the draconian provision for bail, that it restricts bail in a very draconian manner. These need to be struck down.
Political prime minister or home minister or whatever minister, they may say anything. At the end of the day, the written orders have to come from the police only, as the district magistrate or the commissioner of police. Unfortunately, the Indian police service has completely surrendered. There is no need at all for them to surrender.
And I can tell you what I hope the Supreme Court can do in this challenge. That is to strike down sedition completely. And if it doesn't strike down sedition completely, it should at least lay down strict categories which constitute sedition. Frankly, in the 72nd year of our independence, we should not be having laws like sedition. And so it's not really rocket science. I would expect the Supreme Court to strike it down as unconstitutional.
When it became independent, particularly after the Constitution was promulgated, till then people in India were subjects of a monarch in UK. As subjects, we don't have fundamental rights. The day Constitution was promulgated, every citizen from a subject, he became a citizen, enjoying all fundamental rights. People do not understand. Even now they do not think they are subjects.
And in a certain way, I think courts have a responsibility that they work very hard towards preserving freedom of expression and ensure that the balance is not disturbed.
I think the stage has come for the judiciary to make it loud and clear, to pronounce a judgment loudly and clearly, that they would not tolerate the use of these laws on ordinary citizens. These laws were created to tackle terrorism in India.
This is the state of affairs at the moment, and how we deal with it, how the country deals with it, will determine, the very nature of our democracy.